Hello friends, welcome to SR Knowledge Center. Are you facing any challenges while filing a complaint against a public servant for the charge of corruption? No worries. This video is going to help you a lot. So please do like, share, comment and completely watch this video and also do subscribe to SR Knowledge Center. We are going to deal with the topic of Lokpal and the very purpose of this Lokpal and how to file a complaint against the corruption to the Lokpal and various powers and functions of this Lokpal. Apart from all the problems which we are facing in our society, corruption is the biggest menace to our current society. It is the root cause for the maladministration of government and various other public institutions that eventually damages the very foundation of our nation. Hence, we are in need of stringent laws in order to deal with them. This Lokpal and Lokayukta Act 2013 is one out of them. Let us understand the purpose of this Lokpal. The very first aim of the Lokpal is to eradicate the corruption at all the levels of administration and also to provide redressal to the citizens' grievances. If we look into the history of Lokpal, in India, the former Law Minister Ashok Kumar Sen has proposed the concept of ombudsman in the parliament in early 1960s itself. Later, Dr. L.M. Singhvi has coined the term Lokpal and Lokayukta. In 2011, the bill of Lokpal was presented in the parliament. This bill got passed in 2013. In 2014, it got assent from the president. Actually, the word Lokpal was derived from the Sanskrit language, in which Loka means the people and Pal means the protector. Together we can say it as a people protector. Let us understand what is Lokpal. Lokpal is a statutory body which is established under the Lokpal and Lokayukta Act 2013. Being a statutory body, it doesn't have any constitutional background. This Lokpal and Lokayukta Act 2013 mandates the establishment of Lokpal at union and Lokayukta at the state level. They usually perform the functions of ombudsman who inquires into the allegations of corruption against a certain public body or the organization or a public servant and for other related matters. Let us see the composition of Lokpal. It consists of one chairperson and members not exceeding 8. In order to term a person as a chairperson of Lokpal, he should possess some qualifications. He may be either former Chief Justice of India or former Judge of Supreme Court or an eminent person with integrity and outstanding ability with having a special knowledge and minimum experience of 25 years in the fields of anti-corruption policy, public administration, vigilance, finance including banking and insurance, loan management. Let's move to the members. Out of 8 members, half of them are judicial members and another half are non-judicial members. When coming to the judicial members, they include the qualifications. They may be either former judge of Supreme Court or former Chief Justice of High Court. When coming to the non-judicial members, minimum 50% of these members are from SC, ST, OBC, minority and women category. And they may be an eminent person with flawless integrity and outstanding ability, having a special knowledge and minimum 25 years of experience in the fields of anti-corruption policy, public administration, vigilance, finance including banking and insurance, loan management. The term of office of Lokpal. Since Lokpal includes the chairperson and 8 members, they hold the office for 5 years from the date of their appointment or till the attainment of age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. When we come into the appointment of Lokpal, the President of India appoints the Lokpal on the recommendations which were made by the selection committee. This selection committee consists of the Prime Minister, Speaker of Lok Sabha, Opposition Leader of Lok Sabha, Chief Justice of India or a judge nominated by him, and one eminent jurist. Against whom we can make a complaint of corruption means any official who is appointed by the central government. Even the Prime Minister is not an exception to it. We can make a complaint of corruption against him also, but not in the matters of international relations, security or the public order or atomic energy and space related matters. We can also make a complaint of corruption against ministers also, except in matters of vote related and speeches which were made by them in the parliament. and other members of the parliament also comes within the purview of this. We can also make a complaint of corruption against groups A, B, C, D officers. For groups A and B officers, after completion of investigation only, they will come into the consideration of Lokpal. For groups C and D officers, the Chief Vigilance Officer used to conduct the investigation and a report is submitted to the Lokpal. In addition to this, any person who being a director or manager or a secretary of a body or a society which was set up and financed and controlled by the central government also comes within the purview of this. And we can also file a complaint against any person who is involved in the act of bribe giving and bribe taking and abetting the same. Let us understand how to file the complaint of corruption. This complaint of corruption can be filed through electronic media or by a registered post or in person with the proof of identity. This proof of identity is a sine qua non, which means absolutely necessary thing. This complaint has to be given with the valid proof of identity. Even foreign nationals can also lodge complaints against the public servants. For them, a copy of their passports is necessary for the proof of identity. If we file a complaint in the form of electronic media, its hard copy shall be submitted to the Lokpal within 15 days. Such a complaint can be filed either in English language or any language which is mentioned in the 8th schedule of our constitution. So let's move to the powers of Lokpal. Lokpal has the power to superintend and direct the CBI and also authorize the CBI to conduct the search and seizure operations. He has the power to order the public servant to furnish any information regarding the assets and liabilities of them and also their dependents. He has the power to confiscate any of the assets or the benefits or proceeds which was procured by means of corruption. He has the power to give direction for the protection of records during preliminary inquiry, and he has the authority to recommend for the transfer or the suspension of any public servant against whom the allegations of corruption were made. On the matter of removal and suspension of a chairperson and members of Lokpal, this can be done only by the order of President on the grounds of misbehavior after the Supreme Court on a reference being made to it by the President on a petition signed by at least 100 members of Parliament and also on the grounds of insolvency, or if the President opines that the person is unfit to continue in the office by reason of infirmity of mind or a body, or if he engages during his term of office in any paid employment outside the duties of his office. Since everything has pros and cons, this Lokpal also has the drawbacks. Though it is being used as a weapon to curtail the corruption, it has its own loopholes which are in need to be corrected. The biggest lacuna in this is the exclusion of judiciary from the ambit of Lokpal. And it not being a constitutional body, no adequate provisions were mentioned for appeal against the actions of Lokpal. Lokpal cannot suo motu proceed against any public servant. Anonymous complaints are not allowed in the Lokpal. There is no such a kind of transparency in the procedure which is followed while dealing with the complaints of Lokpal. Hope you all like this video. Thank you so much.